Hey, you guys. Hello. Welcome back to the Shannon McCabe Show. This week, we are going to dive into sober vacations. This is super timely for me because we're actually getting ready to leave on a little family vacation in just a few hours here. And this is a topic that's up a lot right now inside of my coaching groups. As I'm recording this, it's August. People, have been on summer vacations or maybe planning a couple more vacations before school gets back into swing. But obviously we vacation all the time, and you guys, trying to figure out how to go on vacations as a non-drinker is one of those big fears that looms heavy in our mind. And we get really, really caught up on the what ifs about this, and oftentimes use this as one of the reasons that we think we can't quit drinking. It'll be miserable to quit drinking. I don't want to quit drinking because I'm never going to have fun again. All of those things. And I thought all of them too. So as always, you guys, if you're here a lot, if you're in my world, you're going to get sick of me saying this. But when we talk about these things, I'm never coming from a place of judgment. I am not judging you. I am not judging others. I'm not even judging myself. We don't ever want to do that. We're just getting curious. Okay. So when we're talking about sober vacations, we're going to chat about how to really prep yourself, how to prepare so that you are setting yourself up for success. Because like so many other things in sobriety, you do not want to go into this with your whole plan being nothing but white knuckling it and just hoping for the best. You do not want to be newly alcohol free and say, I hope I don't drink on vacation, because guess what? You're probably going to drink. Hope is not a strategy. That's another one of my sayings. If you guys have been here for any amount of time, you've heard me say that. Hope is not a strategy. We want to plan, we want to prepare so that we feel empowered. That's how we feel empowered, right? We fill ourselves with new knowledge to help shape our new beliefs. And then we actually make tangible preparations. We're going to talk about, some of it is the more intangible stuff. It's your mindset stuff, but we're going to talk about trying to plan ahead what you're going to drink as much as possible. Plan ahead activities that do not revolve around booze. Plan ahead special treats for yourself. All of these things that you can actually do to take the focus off of alcohol and focus on everything else that you're going to gain on this vacation by staying alcohol free. Okay. So I want to rewind for a second though, to kind of set the stage so you guys know where I'm coming from, because I am not a person that would go on vacation and maybe drink a little bit back in my drinking days. So I never want to spend too much time just reliving the glory days and telling stories for the sake of telling stories. But I want you to understand how much alcohol used to be a part of my vacation mentality so that you can see and really believe that the transformation is possible. Okay. Because, and again, I don't say this with judgment, but I am not one of these women that was like, I had 3 glasses of wine one night and woke up with a headache and just decided that was the last time I was ever going to drink. And again, I'm not poking fun or judging, because that's a super valid journey. Sometimes I wish that I absolutely wish I had had the foresight to get out of drinking earlier, and that I could have been one of those women that pulled the cord and just got out when I was still in that gray area, the gray area drinker. But that was not me, you guys. My vacations were nothing but drink, buzz, drunk, hungover, recovering, repeat for days and days and days on end. Before the vacation, the whole entire vacation. So I'm going to give you some examples just so that you understand that if you are a drinker like I used to be, you absolutely can be a sober person like I am now. So just a random collection of memories from my drinking vacations. First of all, it always, even though I would say I wasn't going to drink much the night before a vacation, whether I was flying somewhere, especially if I was flying somewhere, because I always had the best intentions, right? Don't want to be super hungover on a plane. Certainly not where I would have an upset stomach. Maybe you need to use the bathroom more than normal, because who wants to deal with that when they're navigating an airport or an airplane? Those plans always went out the window, because that vacation mentality would kick in as soon as I was finishing packing the night before, right? So I remember so many times in my last years of drinking when I had often switched to little cans of wine, little cans of sparkling wine, because they were easy to open quickly and dump in a cup and then hide the can somewhere so my husband and family wouldn't even know I was drinking. And lo and behold, before I knew it, I had 4, 5, 6 cans of wine, while I said I was going to not drink very much before vacation. So I would, need to be waking up at 3 a.m. for a flight, and sometimes feel like I was probably still buzzed. Maybe not even hungover yet, still buzzed. So we're not even going to talk about how ridiculous that is, because then I would, drive myself to the airport. Sometimes it was with kids. Other vacations, even when they were work trips, but still vacations, right? Because any, mom that can get away from kids, we know how, like, when you get away from your kids, anything can feel a little bit like a vacation. So I was the woman that once packed a box of wine, a big box of wine, in my suitcase when I was going to Utah on a work trip, which was kind of a vacation. Because, Utah has some different drinking laws, and it wasn't super easy for us to get to liquor stores. And so I thought I was being like so smart because I was saving money and I was, checking my bag so I could do this. And it seemed brilliant. So I literally put a giant box of white wine in my checked luggage for that work trip. And even saying that now, I'm just like, what in the world was I thinking? Most other vacations, especially if they involved airports, it was any time in the morning was okay to drink, right? Even when I was traveling alone with two of my daughters. So I live in Wisconsin. My parents live in Florida in the winter. So our winters usually do involve anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3 getaways to Florida. And oftentimes I would do this, well, still do, with two of my daughters. Dylan, my daughter with special needs, she can't fly. So she's not ever included in these, but I would take my other two, always catch the early morning flight out. And even with my daughters, I'd make sure we found the restaurants that were open that also basically had a full bar. So I could have Bloody Marys, I could have a mimosa. I was still usually then at this point also like sneaking vodka through security in my travel, the toiletries. I'd barely bring toiletries because I'd fill all the little travel bottles with vodka so that I could mix my own drinks on the plane. I'd buy like cranberry juice, sparkling water, lemonade, whatever, go into the bathroom, mix my own drinks to take on the plane, get more drinks on the plane. Always to just keep that buzz, right? I firmly was like a proud card-carrying member of the club that said like vacation is better if you're just buzzed the whole entire time. And so even with my kids at the airport, this would start at like 5 a.m. sometimes, right? Airport drinks, airplane drinks, get off the plane, get to wherever we're going, keep drinking, start drinking again, never getting raging drunk at this point because I was with my kids and that would be crazy, right? That would be irresponsible. But it was completely fine for me to be, doing that like slow drip of a buzz all day long. And you guys, I'm trying not to sound judgmental. I realize here I maybe am a little bit, because now I see how insanely irresponsible that is, how much I regret vacations with my children who are now getting older and like slipping farther and farther away every day. And I made vacations about drinking and it pisses me off. It makes me so mad that I bought into these lies that I needed to be buzzed or drinking to enjoy vacations, especially when my kids were involved. So that ties into the vacation that's happening today, because what we're doing is getting ready to go to Wisconsin Dells. So if you're not from the Midwest, if you're not even from the States, Wisconsin Dells, it's about 4 hours away from where I live. Wisconsin Dells is known as the water park capital of the world. So we have a resort that we go to every year. It is probably one of my favorite times of the year, because this particular setting, water parks, is a place where my whole family of 5 can feel pretty normal, because Dylan, my daughter with special needs, loves to swim. She is absolutely at home in the water. So when we are swimming, when we are doing water slides, we're like a normal family. The 5 of us get to do something together, because the rest of the time in our world, that's not usually how it goes. There's a lot of things that Dylan is not able to do because of her disability. But Wisconsin Dells is also basically a booze fest for adults, because it's vacation. Again, from the second you wake up in the morning, you're at these resorts with indoor water parks, outdoor water parks. So we're talking about lazy rivers, wave pools, water slides. All of the resorts now come complete with swim up bars. So while we're like right next to the little splash pad for the little kids, little swimmers, then we have the swim up bar, because who could possibly feel like they're on vacation if there's not alcohol available everywhere? And so, par for the course, when I was a drinker, I would get so excited for this because it would be fun family time. We are in the water usually by 9 or 10 a.m. and it's completely socially acceptable to get the huge frozen pina coladas and daiquiris and Mai Tais or just a beer. Like, it doesn't matter. Start drinking at 9 a.m., 10 a.m. You're on vacation. And I lived for this because, again, it was like, it was okay. Everybody was doing it. We were on vacation. So I could do that slow drip all day long, the slow dripping buzz while hanging out with my kids, and not just while hanging out with my kids, but hanging out with my kids around the water, which now again, you guys, this, I think about it, and this actually, it does kind of infuriate me a little bit now. I'm going to be super honest. Because now as a sober person, and this is the third summer that we've gone and done this since I quit drinking. And it is a mixture of like anger and fear and anxiety when I see all of these kids, hundreds and thousands of kids at these water parks swimming, who in a lot of cases are barely being paid attention to because their parents are drinking. Okay. It's just really hard to watch because there's obviously a lot that can go wrong when we're talking about water parks and small kids. And so when you have adults focused on alcohol rather than focused on watching their kids, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. But anyway, so I did this for years because it's completely normal, right? Everybody does it. And so part of what I want to talk about today is this idea that kind of one of these first aha moments we have to have when we're getting sober is that just because things are normal, meaning everybody does them, just because they're, or no, wait, I'm saying that wrong, you guys, I apologize. Just because things are common, right? Everybody's doing it. Everybody drinks at the airport at 5 a.m. on vacation. Everybody drinks at these water parks when they're watching their kids in water, but they're still sitting there getting buzzed or drunk all day long. It's super common, but that doesn't mean that it's normal. It doesn't mean that it's a healthy behavior. It doesn't mean that it's okay. But for years I did it too, right? And then I quit drinking. And there was actually one fall when I was trying to quit drinking, when I was taking breaks, and we had a trip like this planned to the Dells, and we went there. I wasn't drinking, but I was not at all what I would call sober, because that was back when every time I took a break or tried to quit drinking, I was just doing it myself. And all I was doing was removing alcohol. I wasn't reading anything. I wasn't listening to anything. I certainly wasn't putting myself in communities and talking to people. All I had done was take out alcohol. And I assumed that it would be like magically easy and I'd be fine. And if I could just take a little break, then I was going to prove that I was okay, right? That I didn't have a problem. So it was one of those breaks where I was always just taking a break to reset and then get back to being able to drink. And so I remember that particular fall, we took this trip because I was miserable the whole time. I was so pissed off. It was so unfair. I felt so deprived. This 100% was like a FOMO situation. Like I was so fixated on alcohol and felt so left out. Well, the whole host of negative things that you sometimes associate with not drinking is exactly how I felt because I had not done any of the work. And I can see that now. Like I really thought that just not drinking was all that needed to happen. I wasn't doing anything to address any of this. Like, why was I so convinced I had to have alcohol to have fun? And that time shows me I wasn't even giving it a chance. I wasn't even giving fun or connection a chance because I couldn't have wine. So I basically pouted the whole entire weekend. And that's another reason I'm just so passionate about people understanding that reading Quit Lit, listening to podcasts, putting yourself in communities, working with a sober coach, getting to the bottom of why alcohol has become such a fixation in your life is key to breaking the spell, is key to breaking free from this. What if sobriety wasn't just about what you gave up, but about everything you're ready to step into now? I'm Shannon McCabe, and I created Elevate for women who are already alcohol-free and want to go deeper. This is a 12-month membership designed to help you rebuild your health, your habits, and your confidence from the inside out. So you're not just staying sober, you are thriving in your alcohol-free life. Inside Elevate, you'll get live coaching, daily support, wellness-focused self-guided tools, and resources to help you feel grounded, energized, and strong in your body, your mind, and your routines. Whether you're still navigating sugar cravings, low energy, emotional swings, or just feeling like something is still a little off, this is where we put the pieces together. One member recently told me, I knew I was better off since I quit, but Elevate helped me finally feel good in my sober life. I've never felt more clear or connected to who I am. And that is what this space is all about. If you're already sober, but craving real support and structure to help you feel your best physically and emotionally, check the show notes for all the details on Elevate. Let's build the life that you quit drinking for. So anyways, it's been amazing for me to now keep going back to the same place, to the Wisconsin Dells, and to do it sober and to do it as a happy, sober person that has done the work. Because I will tell you guys, these vacations, this is probably the fourth one fourth or fifth time now, we've gone back to the Dells since I quit drinking this stint for good. I'm coming up on almost 3 years. These vacations are 1,000 times better than they ever were when I drank. So much more relaxed. Anything is so much more relaxing when you are not constantly trying to manage your drinking. Can I have another drink? Am I drinking faster than everybody else? Oh my God, now I have to pee all the time because I'm drinking so much. My husband's maybe kind of giving me looks, so I'm going to make him think that this is just a soda, but it's because I put my drink in that other water bottle and I'll just drink when he's not watching. Spending $1 million on overpriced crappy drinks at the bar. Then, bloated, feeling shitty every morning when you wake up. Not just like because it's vacation and you're doing a million other things, but because, you're hungover all the time. You guys, I don't miss a second of it. These vacations now are so much more relaxing. I'm having just as much, if not even more fun with my family because I'm actually present and focused and paying attention. I'm way more relaxed because I'm taking in everything around us. When I sleep at night, even if it's fewer hours of sleep, I'm actually getting really good sleep. In the beginning, when I needed to, I planned for like every eventuality so that I had things that would make it easier for me to do this place sober for the first time. And so we're going to talk about that stuff more specifically in a second. But the point of all of this is, you guys, I was the drinker who 100% honestly would not even see the point in a vacation if there was not going to be alcohol. Like, put me on a beach in the tropics. What is the point if you don't have a fluffy drink in your hand? Put me on a boat in the ocean. Why do that if you don't have a drink in your hand? Take me to Wisconsin Dells. Why do that if I can't drink? Any of it. For years, vacation equaled booze. That was just it. Full stop. I absolutely believe that 100%. And now, at almost 3 years sober, I can hands down say that sober vacations are 1,000,000 times better than any drinking vacation I ever had. And the beautiful thing is, this isn't just me. If you talk to other happy sober people, they're going to tell you the same thing. I actually just got a message this morning, a couple hours ago, when I woke up. One of the first things I do after I have my morning quiet time, to get my head on straight before the day starts, I always check in with my communities, my coaching groups, and beautiful new member in there, we'll call her Kay, is probably about 6 weeks sober at this point and is on her first sober vacation with her family, and sent me a message that said oh my gosh, it's day 6. I can't believe how amazing this is. I'm having the best vacation of my life. I went to the bar last night to get my husband a beer, and she said she gave the bartender their room number and name. And the bartender was like, oh, usually it's your husband that orders the drinks. You're the one that always drinks the club soda and lime with a tahini rim. And she's like, yeah, I don't drink. And he's like, that's awesome. And she was like, I said that. I said, I don't drink. She's like, and I meant it 1,000%. She's like, I can't believe I feel this good, in less than 6 weeks, 6 weeks from quitting drinking. And she is having a completely new outlook on life and a new outlook on vacations. Completely enjoying a vacation more than she's enjoyed other vacations because she's not drinking, you guys. This is what's possible when we do the work to embrace what sobriety has to offer us. Like I said, just removing alcohol isn't it, right? Because I talked about that. I have the perfect example of that when I did one of these Wisconsin Dells vacations, when I was taking one of my breaks, which was not quitting drinking at all. I removed alcohol and I did nothing else to change my life. I did nothing else to change my beliefs or my behavior or anything else. And I was miserable. But when we actually do the work, when we put effort into changing what we think and what we believe so that we can actually feel better overall, that's when we unlock the real magic. So what are these things then? So Kay is the perfect example. What did we talk about before she went on this trip? So one is the mindset stuff. Let's start with the stuff that's a little bit more intangible. It is making sure that your mindset is right. A big part of this is we focus on reality over romanticizing. So if you find yourself romanticizing alcohol on vacation, take yourself back to your reality, right? So for me, for Kay, for everybody else in my world, this is where we do force ourselves to look at kind of our dirty laundry list of vacation drinking, right? So for me, this was all the times that I would sneak out of my bedroom late at night in my parents' house to get more beer out of the fridge after everybody else had gone to bed. And then I would wake up hungover and feeling like crap in the morning, completely not present for the activities that I had planned with my kids or my parents. These are the hangovers that cause us to waste a half a day in bed on vacation because we're so hungover. This is the stupid, embarrassing, terrible things we might do or say when drunk, right? There was one vacation. My husband and I had got away on a vacation for the first time since our honeymoon. So this was a big deal. I won a trip with the company I was with at the time, went on this all-inclusive vacation to the Dominican. And like I said, first vacation away from our kids in like 15 years. And I was 100% in active alcoholism here, but completely in denial about it. And so, I mean, belly up to the bar by 11 a.m. every day. So the last night of the trip was a big send-off dinner. One of my colleagues, one of my best friends was like, oh, there's, this woman who's like the only female founder of the company. Let's go meet her. And my husband like got in front of us full stop. And he's like, Shannon is not going to meet her right now, because I was wasted. I was beyond wasted. I, of course, the next day didn't even remember any of this. They had to tell me everything. I relived it in pictures because I had been drinking all day long. And I look at the pictures now and my heart just breaks because I look like I'm basically a standing puddle because I was so drunk. I mean, that could have been a disaster. Thank God my husband saved me from completely embarrassing myself and probably, ruining my career by going up and talking to the founder of the company when I was blackout drunk. You guys, that is the reality of drinking. Now, your story might not be that one exactly, but you probably have many stories that are the reality of your drinking. So when you start to feel yourself being swayed by like the endless Mai Tais and the open bar and all of the crap we see on social media with like the perfect crisp white wine overlooking the ocean and vista or something like that, remind yourself of the reality of your drinking. That is probably not how it usually goes for you. One drink is going to lead to 3, is going to lead to 7, is going to lead to you fighting with your husband, embarrassing yourself in front of your kids, blackout drunk, and feeling like death tomorrow morning, okay? Use reality to combat the romanticizing, and this helps you stay on track for why you are better off not drinking on your vacation. So then the next thing is to plan activities. What do you get to do if you are not drinking? Okay. So this is really just an intentional shift from staying up super late at night drinking. And again, usually getting to the point where we don't remember conversations, we're embarrassing ourselves, maybe potentially putting ourselves in dangerous situations, and instead focus on the next day. Like, do you know how amazing it is to wake up on vacation with a full day of relaxation ahead of you and feel fantastic? Take a long walk on the beach or around your resort, kayaking, just feeling good and actually enjoying coffee and food wherever you're at. You guys, we just got to shift to everything that you are gaining by staying sober. What are all of the things you never used to do on vacation as a drinker that now you get to do, right? So anything and everything, catching a sunrise, you guys. It's one of my favorite things now. And actually, maybe even still just catching the sunset, but actually remembering it, like actually paying attention and remember the sunset you get to see. Know that you are going to actually remember every laugh that you see in your kids, every giggle, every smile on their face from the fun they're having. You're going to remember all of it. You're going to go to bed feeling good and be proud of yourself. And you're going to wake up feeling amazing and have the energy for a full another day ahead of you. One of the best things about sober vacations is we realize quickly how amazing it is to come back from vacation and actually be rested and actually be recharged. There is no more of this like, oh, I need a vacation from my vacation. That saying exists usually because people have spent their whole vacation drinking and feel like crap and come home feeling even more depleted than before they left. That all disappears when we take alcohol out of the equation. So the next big thing, probably the biggest, like most tangible thing is planning your NA drinks as much as you can. So now obviously, depending on how you're traveling, this is going to look different, right? So we'll go back to my client, Kay, who they're at a resort, took a plane, so can't probably take a lot of drinks with her. They're not at a place where they're going to be doing any grocery shopping, so she can't like stock up on her normal favorites. But so she's enjoying club soda with a lime and a tahini rim. You guys, that sounds so refreshing and so amazing. You can make so many endless mocktails from things like club soda, pineapple juice, ginger soda. So many resorts now are on this bandwagon of mocktails that I know so many people that you ask them for something like, I'd like something kind of sweet and kind of spicy, but like not too much sugar. So cut it with club soda. Or I want, get a virgin daiquiri, a virgin pina colada, a virgin margarita. You guys, there are endless drink options everywhere. Experiment a little, see what you're going to like. But have a plan, mentally make that plan going in. Now, if you are going someplace where you can either grocery shop because you're maybe staying in a condo or an Airbnb, Or like the trip we're taking today where it's, a vacation closer to home, we're driving. We're staying in a condo then. So it's all completely in my control. So I have a cooler packed full of all of my favorite drinks. Spindrift, kombucha, different energy drinks, club soda, sparkling water, all of this stuff. I'm taking all of my usuals. The first time we did this, that did include a lot of NA beer and NA spirits. I relied on NA drinks a lot my first year of sobriety. They helped me bridge the gap between where I used to be, which was a woman that loved drinking at 10 a.m. on vacation, to where I was now, which was somebody who was absolutely committed to my sobriety. But still at that point, I felt more comfortable having something that looked and tasted like a beer in my hand. I felt more comfortable being able to make something that tasted like a pina colada, but did not have alcohol in it. Okay. I am a big believer in if NA drinks help you, go for it. Do it. They did not trigger me. They helped me stay on my path to sobriety. And then as I got stronger, got more time under my feet, I hardly use them now. I think, in fact, the only thing I have packed for this trip now at almost 3 years sober is NA tequila, because it is in these vacation settings that I find I still do like the taste of a margarita. So I have a favorite. I get some like organic margarita mix, do a little splash of margarita mix, club soda, and then NA tequila. And I actually use electrolyte salt packets, so I don't even have to worry about salting a rim, when we're heading to the water parks. And it's fantastic. It's so good. But now I don't even need any more NA drinks than that. Even that would have surprised me 2 years ago, my first summer, when it was literally like our condo looked like the NA section of a liquor store because I took so many different beers and NA spirits and everything like that. But it's because it's what helped me. It's what helped me stay the course. So plan those tangibles as much as you can. Plan NA drinks, even if that just means you're going to let yourself have as much Diet Coke as you possibly want without feeling guilty about it. Do what you need to do. Be grateful that you are staying sober and treat yourself the way that you need to. Which brings me to another thing is, staying focused on the other ways that we can indulge when we're on vacation, right? So for a lot of us, that does mean maybe extra desserts. Maybe we get rid of all of our rules and healthy eating habits around dessert, right? I do this within reason now just because I'm old enough that if I have too much sugar, I feel disgusting. I can't really handle it. A sugar hangover becomes a very real thing, I've learned with age and kind of in sobriety. But still, I'm going to let myself have the funnel cakes and the ice cream and hit the candy shop and do all of this stuff because it's better than drinking. And it certainly never makes me feel anywhere near as bad as drinking did. So what other ways can you indulge yourself? Maybe it is food, but maybe it's like taking some of the money you would normally spend on alcohol on a vacation and taking advantage of the spa wherever you're at. Maybe it's a little extra retail therapy. The point is, you guys, there are so many things available to us when we take the focus off of alcohol on vacation. Okay. So when you're gearing up for your first sober vacation, equip yourself, plan ahead by reminding yourself of the very real reality of what your drinking used to be like on vacation. Not to guilt yourself, not to wallow in shame or regret, but to remind yourself of why you're not going back to that place, why you do not want this vacation to be like those vacations. And then you're going to focus on everything else you get to do. Have more energy for walks and excursions. You're going to get up and see the sunset. You're going to spend time with the people that you love on this trip and actually remember all of it, actually be fully present and aware. You're going to sleep and actually feel good and be rested and restored and come home recharged. And then you're going to plan as much as you can. What can you plan for your NA drinks? What can you plan for the special treats that help you feel good and feel spoiled and feel taken care of, so that you are controlling what you can, and then knowing that you're strong enough and resilient enough to handle the things that you can't control. You guys, the beauty of this is 99% of the time, when we have done the work, when we have really started to do the things that help us realize how much better we are off without alcohol, right? So you are not just removing alcohol and white knuckling it and hoping for the best, but you're listening to podcasts, you're reading Quit Lit, you've put yourself in sober communities, you're working with a sober coach to unlearn all of your negative beliefs about alcohol, learn all of the ways that you are better off with alcohol. Then when you go on these sober vacations, it is truly like an awakening. is living life to the next level. It is a 10 out of 10 life when you realize everything available to you and everything that you were missing when we would spend vacations buzzed, drunk, blackout, hungover. That cycle is, it's the epitome of wasting time and wasting life. Like, sorry, not sorry, but it is. So I'm going to wrap that up there, you guys. I'm going to get ready to leave on my trip. I'm super excited. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see all about it. Of course, I share everything over there, but I would love to hear how this landed for you. Have you done your first sober vacation yet? Tell me about it in the comments, or come over to Instagram and send me a DM and let me know how it went. If you are still worried about your first sober vacation, I hope this has helped you. Let me know how it's helped you. Let me know how you're going to approach things differently now that we've chatted about this. But all in all, you guys, sober vacations are where it's at. You all deserve to know how fantastic vacations can truly feel once we get alcohol out of the way and are like fully available for all of the experiences that we have in front of us. Okay. So thank you so much for hanging out today. I appreciate all of the love for the Shannon McCabe Show podcast. I really, really, really just love you guys and appreciate you being here. So I'll be back next week.